Hi, so I'm a member of a Unitarian Universalist church, and what tends to leak out into the news about us most often is that we teach sex education in our church school. It's true, it's a really great program. The core part of it is a year-long comprehensive sex education class for 8th graders. 90 minutes every Sunday, September through May. When we say comprehensive, we're not fooling around. And both my kids went through it. No stories from that. But after that happened, I would find myself in conversations with the minister in charge of this about how do you teach this? I mean, I know what the content is, but 8th graders, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., 90 minutes, this is impossible. And after a while of this, she said, look, if you're so curious, just take the training class. There's one next month, and you'll know. And I can smell a volunteer trap. But she says, no, even if you take the training, you don't have to teach. So a month later, there I am with some group of people passionate about sex education, and I learn a lot about that. I learn about myself. I learn that I don't blush, not at all. I don't know why. My wife says it's because I'm shameless, but whatever, that's just how I am. And it's a good thing because sure enough, that fall I'm part of the teaching team, 8th grade sex education for the next year. And I've done it many times, but that year it was my hobby. I got into it. You study everything. You want to know all about it. You want to try out these techniques. And you lose a lot of your public self-consciousness about this subject that you might otherwise have. So one night, my wife and I are coming back from something on a Saturday night, and I remember I'm in charge of the class the next morning, and part of it is a 30-minute hands-on workshop in how to apply a condom. We say apply because they're putting it onto something, not putting them on themselves. And there's a lot of discussion about what can they put them on. You can get actual medical models, but they weird people out. And in a church that's about diversity, you'd want them in lots of colors. You'd want circumcised and and it's a lot of money. So anything you could get there, that's too much. Anything you buy at a sex shop is too much of a distraction. In the end, bananas. Right? Sometimes the obvious is the best. And so we stop at an Acme and we get a couple of bunches of bananas. Not too ripe because you want them to be firm and you want them to stand up to repeated use applications. So we get these things and we think we're going to get into the car and drive to a drugstore and I can buy condoms. But we're right next to the Kmart. They're together. And so I think the Kmart probably has them. And we go right out the door and into the Kmart. And sure enough, there's this huge aisle of them. And my wife, did I mention she blushes? She does. She does that for both of us. And she knows what's about to happen, and she does not want to spend 15 minutes, which is what it's going to take for me to standing next to the pervert and the condom aisle handling all the merchandise, so she takes off. And then for the next 15 minutes, I'm enthralled. I haven't bought condoms in decades, and now they have colors and textures and sizes and flavors. I mean, it's just, I'm building up this big collection of them to take to class. And my wife comes back and says, we're leaving now. So we go off to the register, me with my pile, and I notice that they've just installed self-checkout, which is awesome for young people who are too embarrassed. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to tell them about it in class. I'll be a hero. They can buy condoms and not talk to people. So we do the self-checkout, and we just throw them into the bag from the Acme with the bananas and the receipt, and hand in hand, we go off to the exit. Hand in hand is a euphemism. She's dragging me out of the store. And we get to the door, and we set off the shoplifting alarm. And it's a really good one. It's going, and it takes me like a second to realize condoms, they have those little magnet things, and there was a pad. I should have swiped them on to demagnetize them. Good tip to tell the kids the next day. But right now, we have to go to the security desk. And my wife is squeezing my hand so hard it hurts. And I realize that's the point. And we go to the desk, And I'm about to explain, but we don't even have a Kmart bag. We just have an Acme bag. He looks and says, I've got to look at this. I've got to look in the bag. And we give it to him, and it's just a jumble of bananas and condoms. And he looks at this, and he looks at me, and he looks at my wife, who is this amazing shade of tomato red. And he makes this pinched up face and says, go, get out of the store, go. And she wants to explain, and I'm dragging her out of the store now. And this is why, a moment of curiosity means my wife has this permanent pink complexion now for the rest of her life.
Great job, man.